Hello and welcome. We are still alone together, and it's a little difficult for me to believe, and I'm sure for you too, but we are making the best of it. We are looking for the silver linings. We are taking care of our nervous system and our immune system, and we are coming together to meditate. And we've been doing this now, I don't even know when we started. Maybe it's been 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. And we're going to continue at least for another 4 weeks. So I love having you here. I'm so excited you joined us. It's really fun to be alone together. I mean, it'd be nice to be all together, but we can't necessarily do that right now without it being illegal. And I had to text someone today that says, I'm not willing to get in trouble for putting together a meditation program and having it be illegal. So this is the legal way we're doing it, and it's fun, actually. I think we're all finding out that we like Zoom and we like to connect in this way, even if it's only 2D. But I know you're sitting there in 3D, as I am here in Santa Barbara. And I'm excited to work with you today on one of my favorite conversations. And have you ever heard of the saying, no mud, no lotus? No mud, no lotus. Well, what in the world does that mean? So no mud, no lotus really refers to the journey that a lotus seed takes. And we could call it water lilies for, those of us in the Western world. But the journey that a water lily seed might take in a murky pond. And quite often, of course, it needs to bury itself in the murk, in the mud, down in the sticky stuff. And underneath a pond, there is not necessarily a clear vision as to how to go from A to B, especially under the mud. And yet, a lotus seed in the seed itself knows and has all the intelligence with which to navigate that dark, murky bottom. And it has everything it needs to turn into one of the most beautiful flowers. As you probably have seen over the years, that the lotus flower is considered a symbol for our expanding awareness. As a matter of fact, the word Saraswaha, I don't even know if I pronounce it right, but the crown chakra, Saraswaha, I always get it mixed up with my own name. It means the 1,000-petaled lotus that looks like a halo, but is continuously opening. That's you and your spiritual self. But let's talk about that journey. So a lotus seed goes into the mud and waits for the right time, and who knows when that is. We stay out of the when and the how, but we know it will happen, and it waits for the right time, and as it does, it starts to burst open the seed, and the tendril starts to make its way from the murky bottom to the light. And it could be a slow journey, an arduous journey, but eventually it makes it there, and then it rises to the surface and then blossoms. And then continuously, in the world of spirituality, continuously blossoms. But the moral of this journey is really about the need for the mud, the need for the fodder, the need for the fertilization, the need for the darkness in order to grow towards the light. And I am starting to think of this particular time, even though it's not particularly dark where I am, because it's starting to be some of the longer days of the year. But there is an element of mystery and the unknown about the future. Yet, maybe there's this higher intelligence, this wisdom, just like the same wisdom that's in that seed of the lotus. It's the same wisdom that's keeping your heart beating, the same wisdom that's keeping this earth spinning, the same wisdom that turns everything into its perfect self. Maybe that's what we need to tap into and have faith that that seed and this darkness is perfect for our unfoldment. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about you and your intention and your imagination for your future. And it's really important, even though even the word future might start to create some anxiety because we don't know what's going to happen next. Let's practice with mindfulness being mindful about how we focus on our future. Now, mindfulness generally is used to talk about being present here and now and being engaged in what you're doing while you're doing it. But there is something such as mindful planning. and mindful reflection on the past. So let's mindfully consider what a future might look like for you. So we'll start in this, this is something I just heard to do when I was in the other room brushing my hair for you. And I thought, I'm going to do this because I think it's really important that we have some healthy relationship to the future rather than just squelching the anxiety or bringing our attention back to the present moment on a regular basis, which is fantastic and a perfect antidote for the anxiety. But quite often, we're maybe a little afraid to look at the future since it is unknown. So we're going to plan for a future and imagine a future in a year, and really start to think about what that's like for us in meditation. So for those of you who are new, I don't often do future meditation. So this is sort of something that just happened. And I have great faith that it will be fun and great doubt that, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's how it all is, isn't it? Great faith and great doubt. That's both sides of the pathway to your self-awareness. So let's begin by talking about meditation in general. So meditation refers to the many ancient and modern practices, this being one of the modern practices, where you start to become a little more self-aware, where you settle your nervous system, and where you might get some insight. And you come out of meditation with maybe a renewed sense of calm, or maybe some inspiration, or maybe just rested. So we start every meditation by becoming mindful, and I'll guide you into that. And also, I want to share a few essentials for this practice. Number one, it's okay to get off track. If you start redecorating your living room like I do, that's perfectly fine. If you start dreaming about shopping or going to a movie in a movie theater, I understand. But whenever you notice your attention has gone off, you bring your attention back to the present moment or to the instruction of the meditation. And you do this without being defeated. Don't be mean to yourself. Don't berate yourself. Instead, be really kind to yourself and recognize that it's the nature of your mind to think. On another hand, it's important not to have any expectations. If you have this expectation that this is going to be the very best meditation you've ever had, I'm sorry, but that might disappoint you. And then again, it could be. But it's better to be in the not knowing. It's better to be in that beginner's mind and see what unfolds, just like we don't know what that lotus seed is going to do and when it's going to do it. And then, let's see what else. Don't try to have a certain experience. If something is not coming to you or you don't feel something that we talk about, don't worry about it. You're still getting the benefit by sitting here with your eyes closed, meeting your interior landscape, your mind, your thoughts, your imagination. And lastly, though we meditate often for about 15 to 20 minutes, it's ideal to stick with the practice if you can. I know there are some of you that leave early because you want to stay in that stillness and you have the time at home, while others stay longer here. So if you can commit to yourself to do this, let's see how it goes. So I'll just do my very best with this since it's one I've only done. I can remember doing it with you, Shira, and I kind of remember what you talked about, and it was inspirational to me. So let's see if we can do something along those lines again. Okay, so step one, get really comfortable. I mean, as comfortable as you can in an upright position. Ideally, you are comfortable with some support behind you. You can put your hands on your lap, face up, palms face up or face down. You can lean back, sit with your eyes either closed or capped. I like to look downwards, but I think that's a little bit of an advanced technique. You can just close your eyes. And throughout this practice, if you need to move or stretch or scratch an itch, you can, there's no problem. Just come back to being present and comfortable. Okay, so let's begin by taking long, slow, deep breaths. Breathing in and out through your nose at your own pace. Breathing in slowly and fully. And breathing out slowly and fully. When you do this at your own pace, breathing in through the nose helps to activate the parasympathetic response, which is the opposite of the fight or flight response, the stress response. So breathing in slowly and deeply until you feel like you've relaxed enough, about 3 or 4 breaths. And then let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. Ideally, throughout this practice, you'll breathe naturally. Though the breath might change, it might get faster or slower, or deeper or shallower. You might even stop for a moment or two. So let it do what it wants to do. And let's become mindful right here, right now. Becoming mindful means paying attention to what's going on and how you feel and being engaged in this moment. So let's begin by noticing the sounds in the environment. Welcoming everything you hear, far away and nearby. Noticing how sounds come and go. Simply observing the sounds, whether they're constant or intermittent. There's no need to find out where the sounds are coming from. Instead, tune into the sounds of the sounds as they arise from the silence and return to the silence, just like my voice. Also, with your eyes closed, you might notice how you're feeling physically and emotionally. So take a moment now and welcome all sensations, all emotions that are here. You might scan your body, noticing sensations like warmth or coolness, lightness or heaviness, dampness or dryness, sharpness or softness. I invite you to scan your body, noticing everything without trying to figure out why or how, simply observing what is present. Perhaps you soften some areas like your face or your belly, or you sink into the support underneath your feet or your rear or your back. Or you tune into the various movements. Being sure that your attention is a flashlight that beams loving kindness in your insides and your outsides. Feel the clothing on your skin or the air on your skin. And tuning in now to the movement of your chest and your breastbone reflecting the inhale and the exhale. There's no need to regulate your breath. Simply observe the sensations that arise from breathing. And we'll practice this heart-centered breath for a little bit. You might even want to put your hand on your chest or imagine that behind your breastbone, in your heart center, there's a light or a warmth. Some people would call it the center point of you or the seat of your soul or the seat of your awareness. You can imagine the breath moving in and out from your heart center, right out in front of you. As the warmth gets warmer or the light gets brighter, or whatever you want to imagine. This heart-centered breath activates the qualities of the heart, the qualities of compassion and love, discernment and wisdom. So let's continue for another few moments with the heart-centered breath. You can imagine the breath moving in and out, right out in front of you as you keep your body relaxed. And tune in now to why you came today or why you keep your meditation practice going. That innate desire that you have. See if you can identify what this desire is, what your hopes are in a word or a phrase. And you can silently repeat that a few times, planting that seed of desire. And now I invite you to see or feel or imagine yourself in a year from now. Some people are more visual, others just get a sense of it. However you imagine it. See yourself in your mind's eye or imagine yourself a year from now. Imagine what you might be doing. Imagine the projects that you're working on. Imagine what you occupy your days with. Imagine the relationships that you're in, whether it's family or friends, partners or children, sisters or brothers, or your community. And imagine these as harmonious and nurturing. And now I invite you to imagine your physicality in a year from now. How do you move your body? How do you feel? How do you nourish yourself? And how do you sleep? And now I invite you to imagine your surroundings. Are you in the home you're in now? Or is there anything different about it? Who's with you? If any of this brings up any fear or anxiety, just come back to the imaginings. Let your whole body relax. Perhaps give yourself a deeper breath. And know that it's okay to plan. And desires are not accidental. What is your home like? What is your space like? And then how do you feed your mind? What choices do you make in terms of feeding your mind and inspiring yourself? Are there books or classes or people that you want to explore a relationship with to inspire you, keep you sharp? And how about your spiritual practice? What might that look like in a year from now? And how connected do you feel to people, to the planet, to the elements of nature, to the outside world? Imagine yourself and your relationship to this planet and the kinship between you and everyone else. And bring into your mind and heart anything else that you hope to be involved in a year from now. And then ask yourself, how would I feel if this were the way I lived? What would my emotions be? Would my heart be open? How would I feel? And now, imagine this future self of yours having a conversation with you right now. And you can ask yourself a year from now, what do I need to do? Is there anything I need to change? Is there some advice you can give me? Ask a few times and then sit in the stillness, having this dialogue between where you are now and who you are now and who you can be. And you can ask, are there any qualities I need to cultivate for this journey? And now you can thank your future self for his or her wisdom. And bring your attention right here, right now, back to the breath. Notice your body, keeping your eyes closed. You can practice breath awareness now for a minute or two, and I'll keep track of the time. And I'll sound the chimes now and invite you to keep your eyes closed. It's always important to come out of meditation slowly. So take your time, go your own speed limit. I like to take some deeper breaths as I come out of meditation and stretch into the space around me, keeping the eyes closed for a little bit, becoming aware of the sounds around me, how I'm feeling. I invite you to do the same. You might notice a little light coming through your eyelids. You can open your eyes slowly, gazing towards the floor, your hands. And when you feel like you'd like to open your eyes all the way, you can go ahead and do that when you want to. There's no rush. When you want to come out of meditation, I invite you to put your hands together in the prayer position if you want to. No need to if you don't. Thumbs against your breastbone. And then honoring that love that lives through you as you, that calls you forth to live your greatest life. That wisdom that's inherent in you already. Our only job is to remove the obstacles from its full expression. It's the same as the love that lives through me and everyone else. So I bow to that heart wisdom. So thank you for joining me today. You know, I wonder what the lotus blossom would say to the lotus seed if it had a personality. Like, oh my gosh, it's a long journey. I don't know if I can get from here to there. what would it need to cultivate? I always say faith, patience, and grace. So, or at least the conditions for all three. So, the future self meditation, I hope it was helpful for you. I do want to share with you this. I don't know if I can memorize it, if I have it memorized, but I'll share it. It's from the Upanishads, which are Vedic wisdom, and they say, "You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. And as your deed is, so is your destiny." So you already have everything you need. We just have to cultivate the right conditions, the mud. And sometimes that mud is the challenges that we have. Sometimes the mud is the, the, the diagnosis we end up with. Sometimes the mud is the difficulties. Sometimes the mud is staying at home or the COVID virus. But ultimately, it's all fertilizer for our full expression. So I hope you enjoyed that meditation. I wonder if anyone got any insights, or if you noticed the process, how it went when you tried to let yourself imagine a life in a year. I'd love to hear from you.
I got some insight for sure. This is Reed.
Hey, Reed.
Hi. I got, did I come in too soon or something?
No, I didn't have you on my screen. I was on another screen,
Okay.
but I see you now.
So I got real insight. I'm learning, I learned about myself that I need to be much more gentle with myself, and not beat myself up so much. My future self was telling me that to my current self, and I need to develop patience, and confidence and a belief in my own inner gut and my own inner knowing. And the exercises, that you were having us through tonight, just really were very helpful for me. Just like I noticed, it's so funny. Like I noticed that even as I was going through the different visualizations, I met my current self was actually putting up resistance to my future self, or my current self was putting up resistance to even imagining a better future,
Does that? Yeah.
yeah, or what it would look like for me to have a better future. And that was very surprising. So I've got a lot to think about, and I want to thank you for leading us in that meditation. It was very um, uh, thought provoking for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's our Friday night special. I do a Friday night special meditation. I think last week I did a chakra practice. So I don't know, but I'm excited that you had that insight. I think we just keep on doing the same things and wishing for different outcomes. And so this is really an opportunity to consider the possibilities. And yes, you're going to meet resistance inside. And yes, you're going to meet your fears and the I can't do it, which is why we ask you to look, I asked you to look at your future self and ask them, what advice do you have for me? Like, what advice do you have for me? I know we're going to be here in a year, whatever incarnation we're in, we're going to be here in a year, whether we're still at home, wearing our bandanas around our faces, or whether we're out dancing. But what are we going to be doing? And can we have a future that's bright and inspiring? And what do I need? What do I need? It sounds like you are going to remove the obstacles that are in your way. And so continue your dialogue with the future self. And listen, if you're home and, some of these are little woo-woo, new agey ideas, but, I think they help for us to visualize. Maybe you start creating a vision board just for fun, just to step out of your own spinning. And, or you read, someone gave me advice once, which I love, to read inspiring biographies, just to see.
I like that. I
Yeah,
like.
just to see how other people live. And you can find them online, although at some point you want to get offline, but find people that you admire and projects that they're doing, and just let yourself listen, no one has to know what you're thinking.
My wife has a vision board. I've always
Yeah.
been resistant to starting one of my own, but maybe this is the universe saying just for you tonight. Maybe I should think about it a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not set in stone. You can rip a picture off and put a new one on. Just try it. Why not? What else are you doing? Anyway, you can use those catalogs you're getting in the mail. You
Right.
can use all that stuff. So thank you, Reed.
Mhm.
Would anyone else like to share?
Yeah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Michelle.
Oh, it's a different Michelle.
No, I don't know. It's you.
Oh, I started talking, but I'll wait.
No, Sarah, you go. I just sort of saw Michelle's face light up, but it's you, Sarah.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I'm outdoors and my dog's running around on the deck, so I hope it's not going to be too loud. I can't turn the hot tub circulation off either, so hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yes.
A year from today, my 27-year-old daughter is getting married. So, boy, the wheels were spinning, and the message that I got was to let go and that I don't need to be in control or try to orchestrate as much as I think I might need to do. My own mother was not alive when I got married, so I planned everything. My dad was there and paid for the whole thing, but it was a wonderful thing to just go, it's okay to let go. Everything's going to be fine.
I just
And
love that. I just love that it's a year from today. I mean, how perfect.
yeah. Anyway, I'm so loving this practice, and especially the community and everything about you, your beautiful warm smile and your twinkling eyes, and you're so warm and wonderful. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Well, I am very warm right now. It's about 90 degrees in my office. I'm just kidding.